Hello friends, I know it's been a little while, I've been missing in action, but I have had this video half edited on my computer for the last month and I just need to get it out to you because I'm so excited to share it with you. Basically, last month one of my best friends in the world came to visit me with her partner and she asked me to vlog their time with us. And so that is what this video is. I've known Annie and Mark for over a decade now. They're two of the most wonderful people that I know, but we don't live in the same state anymore, so I don't get to see them very often. However, last month, Twice was coming to town. That's a K-pop group for those of you not in the know. Annie, Mark and I are big K-pop fans. So I managed to score us tickets and we decided to go, which was also a great excuse just for them to come down for a few days and hang out. My partner Blair also loves Annie and Mark, so he decided to take some time off as well. And although he is not a K-pop stan, we dragged him along to the Twice concert too, and he loved it. And although I did vlog plenty while Annie and Mark were here, one of the things that I forgot to do or neglected to do was the little like talking head bits in between, just to kind of like update you and let you know what was going on. So that's what I'm here to do now. I'm here to pop in from time to time throughout the video just to like let you know what's going on. But essentially this video is 5 days with two of my best friends hanging out, eating lots of food and exploring Melbourne. It was a really good time. Annie is one of my dearest friends. She's one of the people that I love and appreciate most in the world. So I hope you can get a little bit of a snapshot of our friendship throughout this video. I'm really excited to introduce her to you. I think you'll love her just as much as I do. And I hope you enjoy spending the week with us. Annie and Mark flew in late Friday evening and they were actually staying at my parents' house, which is not too far away from where I live. Mum and Dad were in Spain, so the timing worked out great. Thanks again, Mum and Dad. So we just like went to a local place for a quick easy dinner and just hung out on Friday evening. But Saturday is where this vlog properly starts. Annie was pretty keen to head straight into the city on Saturday morning, but the weather was terrible and we were also going to go see Twice that night on the other side of the city. So instead what we decided to do on Saturday morning was to just kind of like hang out in my local area in the inner west, mostly in Footscray, which is a wonderful place. If you've been following me, you know I've lived here for a long time and I love it. There's so much incredible food and I'm sure you'll figure it out pretty quickly, but Annie and Mark are big foodies. We did still get into the city, but that was later for dinner. It was a great first day. I'll let you see for yourself. can't get over how good Twice was, and just being surrounded by other people who love the music as much as you do, I can't think of a better feeling. But I do have to admit that I was even surprised by how good Twice was. I mean, I love them. I see them all the time performing brilliantly on like TV variety shows and stuff. But they were so good. I can't get over it. As I mentioned, Blair is not a big K-pop person. I mean, he hears enough of it because I'm often playing it. But even he was really quite taken by how good Twice were. And you might have noticed that we basically had the same like dinner and pre-show like itinerary that Blair and I did for when we went to see the 1975. And in fact, it was in the same venue. And it was just funny to me how different the vibe was all round. I mean, obviously it was the same venue. We were actually even in the same kind of like section, just further towards the front. We had great seats. That was another bonus. Everyone was dressed up. Everyone was having so much fun. People were doing the choreographies to all their different songs. It was just a blast. I think 3 out of the 4 of us cried at some point during that night, and I will leave you to guess which 3 that was. Anyway, Sunday was finally the time to give Annie what she wanted and head into the city. Honestly, I think Sunday might have been my favorite day. I don't know. It was really good. We headed into the city in the morning with one main goal, and that was to go to Musashi on Russell Street for ramen. To be honest, I'm not a big ramen fan. Don't tell anybody. I know that's like blasphemous. I just don't really like brothy things. But Musashi is great because they serve plenty of other things, and they have like one of my favorite tofu rice dishes in Melbourne. So our goal was Musashi for lunch on Russell Street, which we did do, and the food was amazing. But then we just spent the rest of the afternoon kind of wandering around, exploring, shopping, eating, walking, and taking some really cute photos.
Yeah, I never met someone like you. Oh, to your mama, she a blessing. There's nothing that I would undo. We'll never hit Z and snooze on you. Always tryna show you something new to you. Only wanna treat you right, never leave your side. Always on my mind, I memorize, fantasize everything but you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm falling for your sweet love, yeah. And your body got my eyes locked. Figure 8 curves and I've been drifting like skirt. Baby, I've been craving for your love. Okay. Smooth like silk and I met it on hills. Let me be real for a second, you a little crazy. You a hundred at will, you got that booty I built. No competition, nil, got me sweating like Bacardi. She a baddie, 조금 미쳐가. Picture perfect on a frame, Mona Lisa. If you're down, we could chill, we could go over time. Over the morning,
I'll have a watermelon. Okay.
yeah. I'm falling for your sweet love, girl. And your body got my eyes locked. Figure 8 curves and I've been drifting like skirt. Baby, I've been craving for your love. Oh, yeah. Tryna make a little mama. Doesn't matter how you're gonna. You can lean on me like towel pizza, y'all. Give me a piece of mind like you were Saint Teresa. But damn, you can also be a danger. Now move I'm in like wild savannah, playing with lava. Damn, nah, 더 이상 못 참아. Wanna always be making love to ya. You still, it's a crime. Damn girl, you're fine. When I'm with you, stars align.
How good are these photos? They're just the best. I love them so much. We had so much fun taking these photos. Mark and Blair kind of waited for us outside, and after we were finally done and we came back out to meet them, Mark quickly informed us that he could hear Annie and I squealing and giggling the entire time. I mean, Hamafilm is just a glorified like photo booth, but with the little props that you get, and I don't know, it was a great time. I had so much fun and I love those photos. And the fact that you can get like a little video gif sort of thing of you taking the photos together is just the cherry on top. Hopefully you can see now why Sunday was a really special day. It was just so much fun. We did not get up to a whole lot on Monday, but I actually did film an intro for Tuesday. So I'll let past me explain to you what we did on Tuesday. Hello friends, it is Tuesday afternoon, late Tuesday afternoon. It's been a little bit quiet on our front the last couple of days because I've been feeling a little bit run down, especially yesterday, and Blair is he's just sick. So Mark and Annie have been kind of off doing their own thing for the last couple of days while Blair and I have been having a good rest. I'm actually feeling a lot better today. Blair, however, is not, so he is still on bed rest. Despite the unfortunate timing of getting a little bit of a cold, we are having such a good time. Obviously Sunday and going to see Twice was unparalleled, but I just had the best time on Sunday as well, especially Annie and I getting those adorable photos at Hamafilm. It was just so much fun and those photos are perfection. This morning I actually had my hydrotherapy appointment, which I know feels quite like separate to this vlog, but I also know several of you have been waiting to hear how it was gonna go. So my physiotherapist was late to this appointment again, but at least she let me know this time. And the appointment itself went really, really well. I felt really comfortable. I mean, I grew up swimming a lot, so I know how to swim. I'm from Queensland and I swam all the time as a kid, but I don't think I've put on a swimsuit in like 10 years. But I felt really comfortable there and I felt really comfortable with my physiotherapist, and I just had a wonderful time. I mean, it hurt and I could feel that my hand was struggling and I was in a lot of pain. But for the first time, it was the kind of pain that felt right. Does that make sense? I'm sure it does to most of you who have had any kind of injury, but it was the kind of pushing myself that felt like I wasn't causing damage. I wasn't hurting myself. I was just pushing my body and, you know, hopefully in a direction of regaining strength. And I also just really enjoyed being at the pool. I mean, most of the people at the pool were a lot older than me, and it seemed to be quite like a social as well as a physical exercise situation for a lot of them. It was just a good atmosphere. I had a really good morning. So I guess I just wanted to let you know that I'm feeling a whole lot more optimistic about the whole hydrotherapy thing. I have another appointment booked in next week and I'm genuinely looking forward to it. Anyway, as I mentioned, it is starting to get a bit later in the evening and we actually have a booking for Tipo 00. Tipo is a really famous, well-known, well-beloved Italian restaurant here in Melbourne. Blair and I have been together once before we realized that it was a big deal. We just kind of stumbled in one time and we were lucky enough that they happened to have a seat for us. Normally with Tipo, you have to book 6 weeks in advance, which is what we have done for tonight's booking. So it's very sad that Blair won't be able to come along with us, but Annie, Mark and I are still looking forward to it. Blair has been a few times with his little foodie group of friends, so he's given us a few items that he highly recommends we try off the menu. So we will be sad to miss Blair, obviously, but I'm so looking forward to tonight. And although it is still cool in Melbourne, the weather is looking much more friendly today than it has been all weekend. Annie and Mark decided to head out to Glen Waverley, which is like an hour and a half east, to try a seafood Japanese restaurant, I think it was. And as a vegetarian, obviously, I mean, it's just not kind of my place, you know? So I didn't go, but Annie and Mark have both assured me that they have left plenty of space for dinner tonight. But I'm gonna finish getting ready and then we're gonna head in for some amazing Italian for dinner tonight. At Tipo was amazing. It was disappointing that Blair wasn't able to join us, obviously, especially seeing as it was his idea. He's the one who booked it. Having said that, I am glad that Annie, Mark and I did get there, and it was definitely a worthwhile experience. And as good as the mains were, honestly, it was the entrees and the desserts that were just exceptional on another level. And the drinks. The drinks were amazing too, especially my mocktail. Honestly, you're always going to get some strong points from me if there's a good mocktail selection for dinner. Then Wednesday was our last full day together. And Annie was again keen to head back into the city and do our usual thing. But the thing we were kind of structuring around, our primary point on the itinerary for Wednesday was the Hawker's Night Market. This was an Asian street food kind of market that they were putting on at the Queen Victoria markets for about a month, and this was the final night, so we knew we had to go. And Annie had been craving durian all week, so I know she had her fingers crossed all day that we would find some at the night market. Wednesday was a little bit more relaxed than Sunday for the most part. You know, we spent quite a bit of a time in a bookshop, just Dimmicks, and I managed to convince Annie to try quite a scandalous book. I've never read it myself, but I've seen it all over the internet the last year, and Annie likes a good romance and she was looking for something a little bit different. So me being the bookseller I am, I made a recommendation. What can I say? You can let me know what you think of my recommendation in the comments below.
Hi, let's go.
Alright, let's take a look at our weather forecast today.
Today's forecast, a lot of sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Got the Tropicana, fresh cut sushi on a platter. Brandy, Henny, it don't matter shots. Till I drop, gonna be 24/7, golden hour like a boss. And they say, yo, guess you got a 2 o'clock appointment for a champagne shot, oh yeah. I'm busy trying to take it higher, got no time for never, only spending cheddar. Wish I could do this forever. Chilling with the hottest company, they all wanna welcome me to their private penthouse suite. Yeah, now I got the key. Rooftop pool, got a heli on speed. Ocean view from the highest peak. I'm complete, oh I want this to stay. Please don't go away. Yeah. Sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. With my homies, eco-friendly, here we invite only positivity to this party. Don't want no drama with any.
It's my kind of okay.
Yeah, I can't say no when I'm this free. Don't wanna go home or I can't sleep. Weather's so nice, only got good vibes. Yeah, we here chillin', chillin' in paradise. Sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky.
The night market was amazing. There was just so much incredible food. Not as much of a selection for me as a vegetarian as there were for the others, but I mean, I could see that they were having the best time trying as much as they could get their hands on. My favorites were the crispy tofu bao. That was like my favorite. I went back for seconds. On Thursday morning, before Annie and Mark flew out, we had planned to go back to Rudimentary in Footscray, which was a cafe that we went to on the very first morning, because the food there was just so good. And Mark thought that it would be like a lovely little way to kind of bookend their trip here, which I agree. It was a really sweet idea. And Mark and Annie and Blair did get there. However, by Thursday morning, I was feeling really quite sick. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, which meant I didn't get to say a proper goodbye to Mark and Annie either. So their trip here was pretty short, and a lot of it was controlled by some pretty bad weather, and also just Blair and I kind of like not being quite well. We were testing, we didn't have COVID, and you know, I kind of would feel not quite right for an afternoon and then pick up the next day, so it was kind of weird. I am glad though that we got to enjoy as much time with Mark and Annie as we did, and I just always have so much fun with those two. After they left though, both Blair and I got quite sick. I ended up developing tonsillitis, and we got better for a few days, and then we got the flu. So Blair and I have been sick for like a good 3 weeks straight, which is why I have been sitting on this video for almost a month now. You can probably hear that I'm still not quite right. Today's the first day that I'm like properly getting out of bed and putting clothes on. But for the last 3 weeks, this video has been haunting me because I edited all of like the footage of us hanging out pretty much straight away because I was so excited about it. And so it's just been sitting here waiting for just like this little bit of extra context and, you know, structure to the video to finalize it for you. But anyway, that was my week with my two dear friends, Annie and Mark, in May. I just had such a wonderful time. I think they did too, and I hope you enjoyed following along as well. Thank you so much, Annie, too, for not only letting me, but encouraging me to vlog your time here so that we can have this cute little moving picture book to look back on. But I won't drag this on unnecessarily. I really hope you enjoyed hanging out with the four of us this week. Thanks so much for following along and for your patience. A big thank you as always to my very understanding patrons over on Patreon, and especially a big thank you goes to Livia, Lynette Brown and Marie. I'm not quite sure when I'm coming back with another video. Like I said, I'm still not 100%, but I'm hopeful it will be sooner rather than later. So I will see you again soon, and until then, so much love. Bye.